Hey everyone, I'm Assistant 4 here, and today we're going to continue our Crash Team Racing Nitro-Fueled Adventure Mode on Classic and Sony PlayStation 4. Now, we're here for the gems. All 5 of them in one go. Now, in the last part, or rather the last time where I did this back in Nitro Kart where there was only 4 gems, I used to do like 2 at a time and then just finish up the game. But here, consider first off, the fact that there's 5 gems is already going to be longer. Second, the most I could do this if I wanted to do an alternate route was do the first 3, then do the last 3, and then Solid Side Coliseum, and then Turbo Track, and then Oxide. And that's assuming I don't want to show off both endings, which I do. So here's how it's going to go. We do these 5 gems for this video. The next video, it'll be Side Coliseum and the first Oxide race. Then Turbo Track will unlock, and then we do the final race from there. So, let's finally get started. Or rather, let's get... Can you believe it? We're going to be doing all these races in one go, like one video. If you guys have played Mario Kart Double Dash, this kind of concept would be very familiar. Where you pretty much have to play all the courses in a single cup called the All-Star Cup, I think it's called. Or was it just like, I forgot what it was called. I think it was like World Cup or something like that, where basically you have to play all of the 4 cups, Mushroom, Flower, Star, and Special, all in one go. Which means you'd have to play all 16 tracks at once. This game is sort of like that, with this the way we're doing it. We do have the 16 tracks, but the thing is we have a 5th gem. The 5th gem is just playing on all of the boss courses, I believe it is. All the boss courses we've done in the game. Which means we'll be playing on Roost Tubes, Hot Air Skyway, Popper's Pyramid, and of course Dragon Ball. Freaking Komodo Joe really could not find a better place. But anyway, it's pretty much that. It'll be like 16 plus 4. And I'm not looking forward to that with my hands, to be honest. But I chose this route, I'm sticking with it. Besides, the only one who's stopping me now, or at least anyone who can stop me now, is Oxide.
That's how it's done.
But the fun part doesn't start there. The fun part is having to get all these load times all over the place. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Oh my gosh. Just thinking about that. It's basically what I've already been doing for one video. Just one times 4. Because, like, it's not just editing the cups, it's editing every single track into one video. Like, it's a pretty immense task, I'll say. So, if this video does end up coming out on a day other than Wednesday, that's perfectly fine, because, oh boy, I know at least half of the video will be dedicated to those load times. But anyway, something I actually did want to talk about was freaking E3 again. Now, I didn't go too much into detail with that because, like, it was just about the fact that it was coming, along with Ratchet and Clank, like Rift Apart, which is a pretty sick game, but can't say I'm looking forward to it simply because I don't have a PS5. But anyway, back to the E3. Like, now that we know a good estimate of who's going to be showing up at E3, what are your anticipated titles? Or updates? It don't matter. It could be updates, it could be DLC, it could be entirely new games, whatever. What do y'all want? What y'all want to know? Because me, I am hoping like Bandicoot comes out with something different. Like, different from fighting games, to be honest. Because, like, they've been on it and they've been killing it with anime fighters. Even though it's not my preferred way of playing some of them, but I do love the consistent quality they've been providing so far, minus the online. That being said, I do want to see them do something outside of fighting for like this time around, just a little bit. because like I know they've been capable of doing so much more, so much more. As for Nintendo, not. I don't really have it. I actually don't even know what I would really want from that. Like, I know there's Mario Golf next month, but like, other than that, I don't know. Like, I'm really trying to think of something that isn't Smash, because like, there's a decent chance we'll see something. Maybe not even like a fight, not even related to the fighter, but like to like the next fighter, but like an update of some kind. Because I need something with Ultimate Ball. Like the fighters and stages and stuff is amazing, immense, and just like there's so much to go for. But it's kind of like once you start digging even a little deeper, there's like really not much else there. Not really. It was fine for the start of the game because we had so many characters to go through and everything. But then, you know, two years later after that, after the game came out, pandemic has happened, and it's like, Jesus. Like one of its huge downsides began not just to be displayed, but to shine. It shined at how it was. And then on top of that, even without online, it's like, what else is there with the game? Because like, even if I got back to offline, we have, let's see what we have. We have Spirits, Adventure Mode, Classic, all the All-Star stuff, which, it's nice. And then Home Run Contest, which, I'm sorry, I've only touched that once, and I have never went back to that mode. Like, maybe if they had more challenges, maybe if they added some challenges involved to that, I would come back to it, but really, there's nothing for it. It was just like, it was just there because they needed to add it back, I guess. And then there was also, you know, Stage Builder, which is a mighty fine inclusion. Let me tell you, mighty fine. But yeah, that's just kind of like how my spiel is with Ultimate. Now, I know, considering the context of this video, we're all thinking the same thing. What would happen with Crash or Spiral? Like, well, like, we're at a point where, especially now, where it's like, God dang it, with like, who's been allocated to take care of Twist for Bob or just left? It makes me wonder, who's going to be the one to take care of, like, any kind of content related to Crash or Spiral. If you're gonna start with Activision, we have problems. But like, I'm talking like the main developers and stuff like that. Cause like Vicarious Visions is out the question, at least, and for a good bit, no less. Push for Bob is sorta out of the question, but definitely like will have less of an impact if they made it with the same team. Because there's a lot of people that just left it and they just weren't, you know, working on that. And then there's spin-offs, of course. You know, the main ones driving up the one game I refuse to acknowledge because I kind of don't want to throw out steam on a game like that. Because like it's like, bruh, I'm pretty sure they're trying to make their money. Come on, if you're in that same position, I get you. But it's like. Here it's just, but it's the I think it's just the fact that we might be seeing what happens with a lot of studios. Like we could be seeing a studio potentially, you know, close down. One of these three closing down at some point in the future. We don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 years. But whatever they do with Crash or Spiral and Ori, because you know, I'm still hoping for a crossover if anything. If that were the case, I'm hoping whatever game they do is not Bash. Like, Can you imagine that we receive goddamn, like they receive Crash and Spyro to work on the game, and we receive freaking Crash Bash of all things, bruh. I don't know how to feel about that, honestly. Like, if I'm being serious, cause like, oh my god, you guys have seen my experience on Crash Bash, haven't you? That circle was painful. Like, it was good at the very beginning and through the middle, but at the end, it felt like a stretch that just kept on stretching itself. The goalpost just kept stretching itself away from me. I can't get to the top of the flagpole that way. But, you know, we came out on top eventually, and I still having scars from that game, but at the very least, we got through it. And if you haven't seen it, then I would recommend you check out the playlist on the channel. I would even go out of my way to post like a goddamn playlist if it means someone just watches that and hopefully learns not to do 200% like I did. Whether exactly like I did or just not 200% at all, however you want to take that, just please, not doing 200% is self-care. I'm telling you, it's like Crash Bash is not even like it's not even like it's a bad game because of that. It's just that the flaws of how the game carries its difficulty shines that way, because the difficulty spike in it essentially means that now your chances of winning are essentially RNG now, and I'll go into more details in the next race. Okay, so let me get into more details of what I was talking about. When it comes to Crash Bash, there's kind of like this thing where if you get through the crystal, like the trophies, gems, and crystals, all you have are the relics, right? The gold and platinum relics, the sapphire looking platinum relics. Anyway, when it gets to that point, the champions they select kind of gives you like a harder version of, you know, those CPU you fight normally. Which, you know, is all fine and dandy and good and all that, because more difficulty is not always a bad thing. In fact, it can be a good thing, especially when the game drives you for that kind of challenge. That being said, on top of the fact that you need to win twice in a row, twice or 3 times, the game cranks it up very high when it gets to gold. And even more so on platinum. Well, you still need to win 3 games in a row. Like, not that much more, honestly, but it does crank it up more than gold. Like, I know that much. It's just like, they really put all these factors in just for the sake of you having a harder time doing it. But the problem is that the difficulty spikes is so high up there, and the chances of the CPU messing up are so small. That's just it. Chances. It's literally an RNG game at that point, because you're just playing at chance. Other than that, like other than the relics, and some crystals, which essentially soured some of the experience to 200%, I still enjoyed a good majority of the game. Like, good majority. My opinion on the game itself does not change that much just because of that. Besides, it's just the adventure. Besides, that's just the adventure mode. Like, you got tournament mode, playing all those minigames by themselves with friends and stuff like that. And don't even forget, and I hope you don't dare forget, we have Crash Bash Live, which is essentially a somewhat improved variation of these levels. So you have something even better. We have something even better than OG. At least for the most part, because like it's still not final and like, you know. So like you have even more options to play that way. It's just like, and that's all we're talking about Crash Bash and OG. Just focusing only on OG, not Live. There's just so much I got to enjoy out of it. First off, the fact that I can play Embryo, because like I told you guys before that Embryo is one of my favorite characters of the Crash series, and the fact that they actually brought him back in Mono Commune was a treat. It was a treat. if you haven't seen Modern Review, sorry about the spoilers, but like, it is a freaking treat to know how they actually treated him in the game. It was amazing. And once we get to that co-op playthrough, I know you guys are gonna love him. I just know it. But like, when they actually brought him back in Nitro-Fueled, I was like, bro, you're kidding me. They're actually bringing him back. I'll admit the voice did take me a bit of time to getting used to, because like, I was fully expecting it to be the same voice actor from both Mind Over Mute and even Insane Trilogy, because they're the same voice actors in both of those games. And it's like, oh shoot. But then when I heard it, it's like, okay, like it's different but not bad. I'm just glad that they actually brought him back in the series essentially. Same with Nina, same with a lot of characters from the obscure depths of Crash War essentially. And I hope they continue to do that with more Crash. Cause like, then you have, and I've already talked about this, characters like Rillaru and Megamix, freaking Megamix, bro. How do you bring a character from something you only see from 100% of a Crash game and make it a whole character and give it good skins too? Like they actually gave him the Dingo skin and like the mechanical skin for like the Rustline Grand Prix. I'm like, they did so much to bring this character in. Honestly though, I think the best character in this game, and I'm pretty sure we can all agree on this, like, I don't know a single person that's ever actively disagreed with this, is the fact that they made a whole crate of freaking playable character in the game. Like, how do you compete with that? Like, there are some obscure characters in other, like, kart racing games I've seen, like, come back, which is nice, but, like, you can't beat a crate. You can't. Like, it has noises, it has, and what's cool is that, like, if you use the iron checkpoint specifically, it has a little bit of a shine to it in its victory animation. Like, how do you do that? That extra detail for no real reason. Like, the other ones don't have that sparkle, so why this one? It's just crazy. It's a level of detail that they did not even need to go inward with, which is something you could say about a lot of this game. They didn't need to go in with, and they decided to go in anyway, because we do that. Beanox did this stuff, man, and I freaking love it. Now, it's very clear that there are some things I don't love about this. Since we're on the topic of this game, I'm going to skip on online because you've heard me complain about that enough times now. But like, some of the things I'm not too big a fan of is how much stronger they made speed in this game. Like, having the best class in the game is fine because like, it was already a clear imbalance with the driver classes. That was something that was never going to get out of the game, ever. And if they did take it out of the game, I think it'd be pretty boring. Because, like, they would all play the same. And if you don't vibe with the game, then it's like, no amount of characters, stages, characters, courses, carts, all this customization stuff would have mattered. But speed feels really kind of biased in this game. But man, I don't know why that load screen took so long. Like, I was able to get a drink of water, go hiking, and come back by the time this race ended up loading. But anyway, that's another thing, but I'm pretty sure you guys already know about that. And I kind of wish they had something to do with optimizing the game on PS5. I would have more incentive of actually getting the game. Like, not the game, the freaking console, because Crash 4 got optimized on PS5, and that feels like the game I wish we could have had at release. And the only issue I had, the only main problem I had with it, you know, aside from how completion is handled, is just how long the loading times are per attempt of every single level in the game. And it's like, god dang. But I saw how fast it is now, and I cannot wait to get that on PC to just get the experience I wish I got for the first time on the Crash 4. I know people who played it on like 4 and like PS4 Pro and Xbox Series, Series X, Xbox One X probably got the best experience of it, but me not so much. And that's not something and the thing is, even with that, I still don't regret Crash 4 with the way I played it. It's just kind of weird that the PS4 version of that game takes longer to load than the Nintendo Switch version. I know why, but it's like, it's just the fact that that's the case. It's kind of funny to me. But with that being said, I'm hoping whatever they do with the next Crash game. Oh, you suck! Who was that? Freaking Polar? Oh my god. I just hope whoever takes care of the next Crash game, even if it happens to be the same people that worked on Crash 4, you know, by some chance, I hope that they look at what it takes to like actually complete a game and not do whatever they did with Crash 4 again. But yeah, like, I'm sorry, it's just like I like the concept of having hidden gems on every stage, having boxes, of course. Even the 3 deaths thing, like even the 3 deaths like extra gem was nice. Like, cause like it added some challenge to the game, and in a more casual aspect. But then you have the Wumpa Fruit gem, which I'm sorry, but why was that a thing? Like, I'm guessing it was there to incorporate costumes in like their unlock progress, so they don't end up being like, you know, see, we didn't want to use microtransactions, but at the same time, it's like you can get 2 of the 3 Wumpa gems just 2 of the 3 Wumpa gems just by playing the level. You don't even have to actively go for it. And I feel like the only reason I'm saying this is just because of the fact you can't spin away Wumpa Fruit. Like, if you were at least able to spin away Wumpa Fruit, it would at least add a little bit of challenge on something that's already pretty easy to do. Like, pretty easy just by playing the level. But the fact that you can't means that every single box you hit just adds to it. You don't even have to go for the box, and you can just still get Wumpa check. At least 2. Because like the 3rd one you might have to put in a little effort to get, because like there's bonus rooms and all that, but the first 2 mostly you can get those just by playing the level. That being said, also, and the same thing goes for inverted mode. Like, inverted mode was really freaking cool, and that's all I have to say about that. But the fact that they really added separate gems for that just to get more costumes in, and the fact that there's some that you have to play levels twice, that's kind of like my issue. It forces replayability with a lot of the ways you have to play stuff. Like, obviously the other games had it too, like you have to go back to get a gem or 2, especially my favorite game, Crash Bandicoot Warps. Like, they do it too, I'm not gonna ignore that. It's the fact that this game particularly does it so on purpose, basically. And it's like you don't even have to do backtracking for the color gems. Like, you do it like maybe 3 times at most if you have like all the gems. Rather, if you know to get the gems, because some of them are rather cryptic. But you know what? I'm not trying to hold up this race. I'm not gonna dwell too much on the Crash 4 stuff though. I still, same with Crash. It's the same deal with Crash Bash. Completing feels more like a chore than like an actual accomplishment, but at the very least, playing it casually is still one of the greater experiences I've had with the Crash series. Period. Like, it's really fun. Although Nah, never mind. Cause like I was thinking about how I would feel about Crash 4 multiplayer. You know, the thing where they have like every time you touch a checkpoint, you essentially have to swap the control to another player. Obviously, that was the best way to go because you're not gonna burn batteries just waiting for your turn. But there's also the fact that you'd have to redesign levels entirely with multiplayer in mind. After playing Mario Maker, really? After playing Mario Maker 2, I really see how important that is. Like, good freaking lord, it's really important to make sure your levels are meant to have some kind of multiplayer in mind. Like, not require it, but have some kind of like option to it where it's like, if you have another person playing, you can make it work. But that's also kind of why I see why a lot of Mario games don't really have like super crazy level designs where it's like, if you're playing by yourself. But I say this, but then I end up playing Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze where you could pretty much play the entire game by yourself and solo DK. Or Funky, you know. Or solo DK or Funky. And it's like, if you have a second player, it just makes the experience so much easier. Oh my goodness. Now, something I've actually wanted to talk about for the longest time though are stream shows. Like shows that are being streamed on like Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, ooh, freaking like Google EX or some crap like that. And by the way, Google EX is not really a thing. Like, can you imagine Google jumping into this either as like a streaming thing or even a fighting game thing? Google EX, like that'd be a freaking nightmare if you ask me. Like, have a whole corporation jump into the craze. It's like, nah. Like that can stay out. But it's like, you know, with all the stuff they have with documenting like a lot of tech and everything, you would think that they'd have some kind of series involved with that if we were to talk about marketing and all that. Like, they have it. They have the potential. They have the people. They just need someone to do it. Like, I don't know what else to say on that one. It's just like, there's people who clearly wants to do something like that. All you got to do is just sign the paper. All you need to do is just sign. That was actually a pretty good movie. But going back to what I was actually originally talking about, I was talking about stuff like the stuff that, you know, everyone's watching nowadays, like freaking Invincible, freaking some of the Marvel like miniseries and such like that. Oh my gosh, WandaVision was actually kind of a trip for me, but I won't go too much into detail about that because that's literally the premise of the show. It was a trip. It was a trip. But then I started watching Yasuke, which I hope that the people who made that is having a good night right now. Good morning, good night, good evening, whatever the heck they are on the planet. And they're just eating well with that masterpiece they showed us there. Because, oh my lord. Okay, maybe not masterpiece, but definitely it was a good show. I definitely think that a lot of people put emphasis on that for a good reason. And I could definitely see why. Because, man, it was so freaking good. So it was so good that, like, I haven't even talked about Mitchells versus the Machines yet. This level is therapy, by the way. But yeah, Mitchells versus Machines. That was also pretty nice. And the fact that, like, Sony Pictures has been pretty much not missing, honestly. They have not been missing. Like, we don't talk about that one other movie, but other than that, even the thing is, even if you were to talk about that movie, you gotta admit, it did look nice. Like, there was a lot of promise on that. It's just the premise that's like, why? Like, they could have made a premise on literally anything else on that. And I think this would have been the same hits as Mitchell's Machines. I am not comparing it to goddamn freaking into the Spider-Verse, because that's a league of its own. I don't even want to hear it. And the fact that we're finally gonna be seeing a sequel soon. Well, maybe not soon, because like that sucker's coming out next year. But it's like the fact that we're getting a sequel, baby. You best believe I'm signing up for first front seats, baby. Front seats. Like, I'm getting the whole glory up under my eyes, or over, depending on how I'm gonna watch it. Because I'm pretty sure if theaters are still not available by then, I'm probably just gonna have to watch it through streaming. But I would dedicate entire days just watching that. Like, it's kind of hard to say though, because like, you know what they usually say about sequels, and on top of that, the first movie was, it was huge, bro. Like, there was so much going on with that. It's gonna be hard to compete. This course is still always amazing. Like, it's pretty simple, but, you know, simple ain't always bad. Like, there's still so many more shows I want to talk about. Like, I'm now finally getting into the Mandalorian, which is nice. What the heck was that? Anyway, finally hitting up the Mandalorian, which is nice. I'm hoping whatever they do with the new season of Boondocks, I don't know, cause like they've been quiet on that, and I'm not sure if they canceled it or not, or maybe they have said something on it and I just didn't see it. That's usually a case I find like pretty common nowadays, where it's like sometimes some people are quiet about it, but then other times they have said it, but they've been so low brow or overshadowed by something, it seems like it is, but in reality it was right in front of our faces. One of those kinds of deals. Oh, frick. But then you have the fact that like, there was also, okay, one thing I did watch was the documentary where they were talking about how they got all the cast from Prince of Bel-Air back into talking about their experience with the show, which I think was awesome. Like, I don't think it was everyone there though, but it was pretty awesome. Like, then there was like the Greg Eagles campaign, which this is all something different, because like this isn't really anything about stream shows, but it's like, I remember when Greg Eagles was having like a whole like campaign about something like this, where they were talking about like more voices, and this is on top of the fact that I was also trying to see if I could get a signature from Lex Lane, you know, the voice actor from Cortex, you know, that sucker down there, and see if I can get a signature from him on one of the posters, which was it was so awesome to be able to see. It's actually kind of a cool thing to do with a lot of voice actors now, since streaming was kind of the big thing with the pandemic happening and everything. In fact, streaming as a whole benefited from this. It's like, now I'm seeing people log on Twitch with newer topics. Some more suggested than others, but you know, as a whole, just a big benefit. Oh frick, I didn't think I tapped it. Oh. But like, then you had stuff where you get to see a crap ton more games being like displayed into the light. Like, It Takes Two, for example, is probably the best example. I really wish I had this game right now, because like I played, as you saw from my other video, I played it from the friend pass, and my friend owns the game. But like, it's like, oh my gosh, when I played through the rest of the game after that video, it's like, it literally kept getting better. The game literally kept getting better as I played it. There's no other way of saying it other than what you saw from my video on It Takes Two is, it's awesome, but it literally gets better right after that. And I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like the main reason why it was so great for me was just because of the fact that I was playing with someone who understood how the game worked, and like, you know, just wanted to co-op, do like a nice little co-op puzzle, try figuring stuff out together, you know, the fun bits of having co-op puzzles, just try figuring stuff out together, talking. It's just, dang, it was a beautiful experience. I really wish I could relive it. I really, basically really just need the game. And I bet the game looks gorgeous on PS5. Like, the game already looked great for me on PS4. And the crazy thing is, the loading time wasn't even like that crazy on when I was playing on PS4. But I bet that if it's like PS5, the PS5, bro, that game's gonna go crazy with how much it looks, how much faster it is. Just, gosh, it's just so good. The only thing that is stopping me is, unfortunately, the fact that at the time of when I played it, this was when I ended up getting Monster Hunter Rise, which, oh boy, I'll get into that in the next race. I'm letting you know right now, that's something I'm going to be talking about in the next race. Same with stories too, but it's just, it was, like, I don't even know why I'm so tongue-tied over this. It's just like, it's a beautiful game. That's really all I need to say. But at the same time, that's not it, because that only tells the tale at the surface. God dang it, my blue flame. That only tells the tale at the very surface. It doesn't explain how it feels good, what makes it so great, and all that stuff. But I do still have my criticism on it that when you're playing it with someone, because you have to play with someone, you can't play with an AI. That's one thing. But my main thing is that when you do decide to play with someone, you're choosing May. Like, if you choose Cody, you're mostly going to be playing the support role throughout the rest of the game when it comes to like the important sequences in the story. Whereas May gets literally the whole shebang. She gets all of the glory, or at least most of it. Like, you can play support as some of the smaller parts of the puzzle, even though it's mostly like a mutual thing. But when you're playing on like the more essential parts of the game, like you saw in my video about like fighting that squirrel, it's literally just mostly made doing stuff like that. And I feel like having something like that might be a turnoff. I'm not sure. It could be a turnoff for some people, but it's not for me, because even with that, there were so many ideas, so many subgenres played into the game too. The music wasn't the craziest thing, but it didn't really need to be crazy, because like they at least complemented the action sequences to make them feel like they're amazing. And they are. That's the best part about the music. It's nothing groundbreaking, but at the very least, it's just great. It fits so well with everything, and that's all that matters. Oxide Station, we're finally here? Dang. We got here fast. I say fast as we're almost hitting an hour on this video. Again, for you guys it'll probably be like 30, 40 minutes or something, if even that. But for me, it's like almost an hour of doing this recording. I could have did like a whole stream of me playing online and doing pretty much the same thing. I think it would have been funnier that way too, but screw it. We're here to just finish this sucker. I will say this though, once I'm done with this playthrough, I think I will take a bit of a break with playthroughs and just focus maybe a bit more on streaming some stuff, especially with CTR Online, because believe it or not, just because of this playthrough, I know it probably makes no sense on the surface, but hear me out. When I've been playing this, I've put a lot of focus more on just practicing the courses, making sure I'm getting this stuff down for acceleration, because I was still new to not new to acceleration. Heck no, I'm not new, because I've been playing that sucker since the pre-patch days, like pre-October patch. But like when I was playing this, it's like it was just kind of like I was either playing acceleration or I was trying to play fake crash. There was no in between. It just sucked because like I had no real other way of playing them, because like it was either play one of the low tier pretty much driving classes just to play my favorite character, and then struggle getting some wumpa points to unlock some more stuff for fake crash, or play a different character. And that's kind of why I see why a lot of people had issues with the decision of microtransactions as opposed to just, you know, adding more wumpa coins. Because if they added more wumpa coins, I feel like that would have been the big help with getting all this stuff without needing to worry about something like that tempting offer. because that is something I do think is a big of an issue with the existence of microtransactions in games. It's just the temptation factor that just kind of can just take over any rational decisions on what you do for grinding in this game versus screw it, I'm just gonna buy one for coins. And I just kind of get that. So, you know, it just that's really one of the downsides of even trying to recommend this game. The fact that, like, if you have a little bit of an issue, just a little bit of an issue of prioritizing your spends on this stuff, and you really like Crash characters in this game, that then you're going to be somewhat tempted to getting this stuff. And it's like, frick, what do I do now? If I try recommending this, they're going to think I'm shilling for this, like, microtransactions. Above, you know, the issue of online. Can we talk about how amazing those laps were? Like, I was talking about all this stuff on microtransactions, battling, and all this stuff with, like, CTR, yet I just played godlike throughout this whole race. What the heck? Now it's time for the final Gem Cup. We're fighting all the bosses. Now, believe it or not, they actually don't toss all their stuff around like they do in the races. I kind of wish they did, because that would have made the races like a lot more hectic. Because right now it's essentially just racing the bosses, just as slow and everything. And otherwise, just playing the same courses over. But you know what? I've already talked a good chunk of a lot of things now I think about it. Good lord. Now I'm sitting back and thinking, wow. Not to mention the fact that Oxide station was actually godlike. I can't get over that. Like, why wasn't I playing like that on the time trial? Like, that was really good. And that was when I was focusing and everything. But I guess you could say, I will say this though, in my defense, you could use it as like a point I was making about Engine Labs, where every other course I could just make mistakes and still get platinum by a couple of seconds, versus I had to play near perfectly on Engine Labs just to get a few seconds off. Although the way I played on Engine Labs was a bit beyond perfect, because I actually kept a good chunk of blue flame, which is more than what the game really asked from the people playing this game, in case you're ever wondering. Because I'm going to be honest with you, hard mode, you don't really need to hold flame like this. You just got to be really good at driving, like really good. Know your shortcuts, know your areas where you can save time, and power slide maybe a little bit. You don't need to power slide all the time to be hard mode, but then you'll be good. If you do that though, and you're really good at it, then they're kind of free still. Because really, the only thing about hard mode CPU is that they still don't take shortcuts. They're just faster than you. Like, really. My thing is, like, and the same goes for bosses too. I know I've talked about this before with the one of the bosses, but like, the fact that every boss in the game, including Oxide, only tosses stuff backwards, literally kind of kills any kind of intensity you can get from the bosses. Like, I get why they do that, because like, there's some people that do kind of struggle with trying to get ahead of the boss, and usually will either just barely get past them at the last second, or just never get past them at all and just end up just restarting the whole thing. And it's like, I get that aspect. It's actually a pretty important one for people that are starting out playing CTR. It's just, I wish that if I'm playing hard mode, I kind of wish they included that option somewhere, as opposed to it just being them faster. The same thing, but faster. But that's just my opinion. I feel like they could have done something with that. Just one of those small things I wish the game has done. And it's like, and it's kind of crazy saying that too, because like, this game is already just filled almost flooding with details. Like, I'm gonna show you at the end of the lap here. There's something else I haven't shown off yet. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, wait, even right here, hold on. Even right here, there's a whole section of plants learning how to eat freaking cart drivers. Crazy. And at the very end, the part where I was trying to show off the most. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, over here, just dancing and everything. This is all stuff they don't even need to add. And there's a freaking chicken in the pot too. They didn't even need to add all this. It just adds to the atmosphere of the game. I love it. I love every bit of it. And that's not the end. Don't even get me started on every single starting line in the game being different from each other. Like, god dang. Like, they all say CTR, but they're all different from each other. Even the Nitro Car courses, but we'll get to that when we start doing online streams again. Like, I didn't get to really pay too much attention to the starting screen here because, like, the thing is, I know I should be looking more at the starting lines to show you guys the details I'm talking about, but to be able to fully get a good grasp of what they look like, I'd have to go out of my way to, like, playing the full intro of the course, just so you guys can see that. I'm not gonna keep it, but it's just, man. Like, hold on, let me change the camera. See that? You got freaking bats on it. You got bats on the starting line. Ain't that something? For, you know, a course like this where it's mostly underground. I just wish that more of the stuff was explored in game and like the Crash games. Like, I know the stuff in CTR now are mostly references to stuff in the past within the trilogy, but it's like there's some things that are like entirely new and don't even reflect on it that much. Though you could argue that with Nitro Kart in the game, they kind of cover those now. Because like a truly futuristic city was something I never even got really much of an experience on in this game until Android Alley and Electron Avenue especially came out with this game. And it's just like, bro, this looks freaking sick. And when I got to Electron Avenue for the first time ever, when I got a good look at it during that PAX demonstration I talked about earlier, it was amazing to look at. It was gorgeous. 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 Like, look at that. A whole, like, idea of a slot machine for a freaking starting time. I kind of wish they let it play, though. Like, the slot machine play. It would have been a nice little addition, but it's kind of hard to tell when you have nothing but fog and a crap ton of blimps. Seriously. Like, I know Pinstripe got connections, and we all know this since Crash 1, but it's like, bro, this is a little much. Like, good freaking lord. And all these cards and everything. Like, this dude's trying to play an air casino. Which, by the way, has that ever been done before? A casino, but it's in the air. Like, you have like a whole, super gigantic blimp with thousands of people on it. I know this, you know what? On second thought, that is starting to sound like a bad idea the more I'm talking about it, because like, but at the same time, it's like, conceptually, it sounds pretty cool. Like, the closer you can get to something like that is maybe like a really tall tower where this VIP area serves as like doubles as like a casino, and it's like, bro, like, you could have slots, blackjacks, craps everywhere. You just have all that good stuff there. And it's just like, Jesus. Of course, the slot machines. And the closest I've ever seen anything like that was not even real life. It's just Persona 5 freaking size towers. Like, that was nice. Oh, are you kidding me? See, this is the kind of thing I wish they did with the. This is the kind of thing I wish they did more of in this course, but they don't. It's just bombs, TNTs, and nitros. TNTs, nitros, and the flasks. I think that's something they changed, like, deliberately with the with this gem cup, because that's all I've been seeing so far. But it could also be the fact that I'm in first place, because normally I get a boost canister or, heaven forbid, a mask. But so far I've only gotten these specific items, which, if that was the case, that's actually kind of nice. A pretty nice detail to an already interesting pool of details this game has to offer. But if I say any more on that, I'm going to start sounding like a broken record. And I believe that's it. That's the last one. Yeah. So we're done, finally. It took an hour and 15 minutes, but we're done. This is going to be an editing nightmare. Oh my god. And, oh wait, this way. An hour later, we're finally done with those gems. I'm so glad I didn't do this with Nitro Kart, bro. I would have been burnt out if I tried this. I'm not burnt out now, but I could see how I could be burnt out if I tried this. Frick, I forgot about that. So this is Tortoise and First Time. Thank you guys for watching. So we're gonna do what I was initially was suggesting. First, we're going to go on the Slide Coliseum and race Oxide for the first time. Then go on the Turbo Track, and then race him again, and that'll be the end of the playthrough from there. So, this is Tortoise for First Time. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay insane, but most especially, stay warped. Stay warped!